I've had a crazy couple of days sourcing, and I did a lot of not a lot of garage sale. I did some garage sailing yesterday and a little bit of thrifting, and I went to a swap meet, which you probably know as a flea market. Swap meet, I think, is like a local term or something. Every time I say swap meet, people in the comments get confused. A flea market today, and I got a whole bunch of vintage stuff. So there's some context for this haul that needs to be, maybe doesn't need to be, but should be explained, which is I have been forced a little bit to change up my business model. Before, I was sourcing at like Goodwills and Salvation Armies for the most part, spending up for clothing that I was flipping on eBay and Poshmark, and that was how I made the majority of my money. I have mentioned this on the channel a couple of times, but I have like chronic neck pain and chronic back pain, and I've just been kicking the can down the road for a long time, and it caught up with me. And I'm at the point now where listing for hours a day is no longer tenable, at least not in the long term. I could do it, but I would be mortgaging my health, and I think that eventually I would hit a wall that would make it literally impossible for me to work doing this or doing anything involving a computer. The source of the pain is a bunch of repetitive strain injuries in my neck, in my jaw, and in my back from years and years of computer work, bad posture, and not exercising enough, and all the above. All the whole litany of things you're not supposed to do. I have done them again and again and again. And it's to the point now where I have to, for the sake of my health and for the sake of the longevity of my ability to support myself financially, I have to step back from doing a whole bunch of computer listing, at least on the desktop. I have to take a step back from doing business as I've been doing it and re-strategize and refocus, and I've managed to stick the landing, I think. And I've been doing a lot of local flipping. I've been looking into sourcing for The Real, which is an online consignment site for upscale luxury goods, and a couple other things. I'm still making the majority of my money by flipping clothing. So it is a gigantic pain in the ass to have to do this, but it's pushing me in some interesting directions, and I've been learning a lot. The stuff that I find to flip locally that's worth the most tends to be women's vintage stuff, which is exactly diagonal across the clothing reselling spectrum graph from what I've been doing. This is almost completely new, and I'm just starting to get my sea legs. It makes me appreciate or reappreciate, re-remember what it was like to learn how to flip clothing in the first place. It makes me sympathetic with a lot of you who don't know reportedly how to flip men's clothing. Not that I wasn't sympathetic before, but I'm right back in that pocket, right back in the total newbie headspace, and it's honestly, I think, not a bad thing. Anyway, this is probably too much background information, especially if you're new to the channel. So let me just show you what I got. I'll start with the stuff that I got yesterday. So I stopped at a garage sale. I just kind of drove around my neighborhood looking for stuff, and I had a couple of addresses to go to. I found a few decent garage sales. I got this vintage vinyl copy of a Queen album that has a big scratch on it for free. She just gave it to me because it's got a scratch. I'm hoping that I can flip this to like Buffalo Exchange or something that they can use as a prop in the store. I got this vintage Wrangler Blues women's Western shirt with this crazy cowboy print on it for $1. She bought it from a Goodwill and then I guess never wore it. This was a moving sale. She just wanted to get rid of the stuff. I'll also mention I'm still thrifting stuff and still listing on eBay and Poshmark, but it's the top dollar, the really rare stuff, the really valuable stuff. That's what I'm bothering to list. So I'm still doing some eBay listing, just not as much. Same lady gave me this. This is a shearling wool strip. This is what looks like an entire animal. And these are worth like $100, I'm pretty sure. It's authentic, it's the real deal. Poshmark sellers love to use these for flat lays, so I might hang on to it, but I might sell it because I asked her how much she wanted for it, and she said $1. So I got this for $1. It does have some wear on it. This is a bald spot here, and it needs to be cleaned up. It's slightly dirty, but I might just keep this in the event that I wind up selling jewelry or something again. I had kind of a faux version of this when I lived up in LA that made for pretty decent photos. Stopped off at a different garage sale, and I got a pretty good deal on a bunch of stuff. I paid 20 bucks for everything I'm about to show you. It's 4 items. Carhartt trucker cap. That should sell so fast that I might still list it on eBay. Patagonia trucker hat as well. I might just flip these local. Here's a vintage J. Crew 100% wool women's sweater. That's the tag. J. Crew, I'm not super stoked on anymore, but this just is in keeping with the stuff that I have noticed is actually selling, the vintage stuff. And then I kind of rolled the dice on this thing. It's a one piece or onesie. You can't use the phrase onesie or the word onesie if you list on eBay because it's a zero risk, meaning you'll get your account in trouble if the onesie company actually catches you using the word. So the brand is One Piece, one word, One Piece, founded in Oslo. So it just seemed like something that was worth money to me. I couldn't really find the comps on eBay, but 20 bucks for all of that, and one of those hats should cover most of it. That was it for the garage sales. So not a whole lot of fireworks there. I stopped off at a thrift store as an experiment to try to see if I could source specifically for the Real Real. So the Real Real, like I said, they only sell luxury goods. I have no experience with them at all, but it's really appealing to me, the notion of being able to just mail some stuff away and have someone do the listing and then get a decent margin. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to get even like fractional margins, relatively low margins, if I can do that passively, if I don't have to sit at the keyboard exacerbating my neck pain and just send some stuff off and still make decent money. So I've been watching a lot of Jack Valentine videos. Excellent channel, by the way. Jack and Ryan, both great resellers. Been learning a ton. And he does a lot of Real sourcing, and this is a brand that he recommends, Lafayette 148. This is a one-button crop sleeve blazer jacket. I am flying blind in terms of the styles on this stuff. I'm just going by brand. Women's clothing is fairly mystifying to me, especially contemporary stuff. So that should have been like 6 bucks, I think. And I found one other piece that I'm gonna try to send in to Real. It's a women's blouse that's Ralph Lauren purple label. Purple label and black label Ralph Lauren, and Ralph Lauren, the RRL, the Western style, Western-ish style clothing is all the top flight stuff, and obviously vintage can be worth money as well, but purple label, I'm guessing they're not gonna turn down. I'm really gun shy about buying anything white, especially if it's something like this, so I screened this hard. I'm hoping I didn't miss anything, but it seems to be in acceptable condition, no stains and whatnot. So that was it. I found 2 items. I have some back catalog stuff, nicer pieces, Laura Piana stuff that I'm gonna send into them to try to build my store up a little bit and just test the waters. So let me show you what I got at the flea market / swap meet today. The whole thing was a bust except for this one vendor who had this big pile of clothing that he was flipping for $1 each, and it was, I figured out pretty quick, a storage unit that he was just trying to get rid of the stuff for, because it was all vintage and it was all women's, and it seemed like it was pretty obviously all from one person. So I loaded up. Let me show you. So I got all of this, that's all vintage. Plus I got all of this for $31. So I have 31 pieces of vintage to show you. Some of this will wind up on eBay and Poshmark. Some of it, a couple pieces I'm gonna try for the Real, and then a lot of it I'm just gonna try to flip local. This is an excellent brand. Gramici is a rock climbing brand. This is a vintage t-shirt. It's very textured. I've had excellent luck with these textured vintage Gramici t-shirts. I can't really hang on to them for more than a couple weeks. I've only found them a few times, but they're all great sellers. Anything Gramici has sold quite well for me. Here is a lot of this stuff I'm just rolling the dice on. It's $1, so who really cares? The brand is Susan Bristol, which I've never seen before, and I'm gonna have to take the sweater shaver to it, but it's this kind of Christmassy knit wool. It might actually be cashmere. I don't know. It says hand embroidered, 1992. It has the date right there, and it's this spangly stuff. This kind of stuff seems to be doing well locally. Another one I've never seen before. 100% linen short sleeve dress. Long dress. I don't know. Dresses are especially mystifying to me. I cannot get a clear bead on what it is, especially in vintage dresses, that women actually want. Mr. California, just a basic vintage short sleeve button up shirt. You ever seen this before? Pair of canary yellow shorts. I think these are probably high-waisted shorts. Yeah, really high-waisted shorts. My menswear addled brain tells me that high-waisted shorts and pastel colors should be on trend at the moment. Look this brand up on eBay. It's not that promising, but someone's gonna take those. Pretty sure these are 100% silk, I believe. Yeah, 100% silk, vintage, crazy pattern. Here's a JG Hook vintage knit cardigan. I don't think JG Hook is all that great of a brand, and there's a little bit of wear on this, but I was in a buying kind of a mood by this point, so I just grabbed it. Here's an identical pair of those Patagonia shorts. This is a pretty old, pretty heavy knit wool with a hole in it. Sweater. The brand is Guernsey Woolens, which strikes some distant bell way deep in the depths of Moria in here. I think this might be something that's pretty special. Could be totally wrong, but it's old. It's made in Guernsey, British Isles. So I'm guessing that this is not a waste of $1. I usually avoid this brand's members only. I have had pretty bad luck with it, but I got a couple pieces because it's vintage and it just, some 23-year-old is gonna want that. Gramici t-shirt number 2, and I think this is even more vintage. This is the second members only piece. It's vintage members only. It's a puffer jacket, and it's downfill too. It is 80% down, 20% waterfowl feathers. This I gotta look up on eBay. I would be amazed if this was worth any less than 50. This is worth possibly like $100. Downfill. I found the first time I made the first Menswear Manifesto, seemingly every brand, when you sort the sold listings from highest to lowest, their top sellers in terms of monetary value are almost always down puffers. Down puffers in any brand stand the best chance of being worth good money out of all the categories, all the varieties of clothing on offer in my research experience. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a digital product that I made to help people sell menswear who aren't familiar with menswear, who don't have the knowledge base to sell and source it confidently, especially at overpriced retail thrift stores. So I break down 278, I think, brands based on overall sell-through, overall value of the brand, and category by category, what is selling at what rate. So high, medium, and low sell-through. So you can see at a glance like what's selling well and what isn't. The last one that I made was a couple months ago. It's available for free / pay what you want. So you're free to download it and use it. No charge, no strings attached if you'd like. If it's something that you think is gonna make you money or that eventually does make you money, I ask that you donate something or other to me. So there's a link to that in the description if you're interested. This one I'm going to try to send into the RealReal. I have to screen it for flaws. It's a vintage Christian Dior Menswear robe or dress. I'm not totally sure which is which. 100% silk and this crazy pattern. The Menswear, I think, is one of their lower end lines, but might as well. Another vintage piece. It's this vinyl quilted flannel rain jacket from Duck Bay. Probably not worth a crazy amount of money on eBay, but Hopefully someone around here will want it. San Diego, famous for its rainfall. So we'll see how this does. If it's a bust, it was only $1. Here's an 80s vintage silk bomber jacket. Women's XL, magenta. Here's a toes on the nose floral Hawaiian shirt. I don't think this is actually vintage. It could be. I don't know that much about toes on the nose, just that it has kind of middling sell-through. Oh, maybe it is vintage. Yeah, made in the USA, so it is vintage. I'll look this up on eBay before I try to flip it locally, but Hawaiian shirts are in pretty high demand around here. A vintage Lorac original long sleeveless dress with this cool metallic threading design, and fingers crossed. JPO by Jean-Pierre. Vintage women's brands are just an absolute mystery to me. I'm completely groping around blind, but this was new with tags. So new old stock or dead stock, vintage, has shoulder pads in it, knit wool. For $1, I got this vintage London Fog teal trench coat. We're getting into trench coat, raincoat season, and it has this quilted interior, or I guess, yeah, like almost a knit interior. So this looked kind of special. London Fog is not that great of a brand, but this is kind of funky. Made in USA, however that is pronounced. Bedazzled vest, jacket vest. Oh, it's corduroy too. California drawstring. One size, 100% cotton. Is it made in USA? Yeah, California, made in California. This peach colored, weird pullover, half button. I think this is called a smock shirt, or it's kind of reminiscent of one. A Montauk crewneck sweater. It is on a vintage Lee tag. I almost didn't get this just because this seems like this is either something that a bunch of women will want or something that no women will want. That's how great my radar is. I bought it because the tag looks kind of crazy. This looks like the kind of tag that might sell the piece itself. Who knows? That could be wildly wrong. Almost didn't get this one. It's vintage Kirkland. Kirkland is the Costco brand. It might have existed pre-Costco. I know nothing about it in terms of its vintage value, but it's 100% cashmere, and it is new with tags slash dead stock slash new old stock. What the hell is the difference? I don't know. Here's a Bolo brand. This may or may not be vintage, doesn't matter. Jam's World is, at last time I checked it, 100% sell-through in really, really healthy demand. And this is just a wild piece. This might make it to eBay, actually, and it does look like it's vintage. This is, let's see, made in Hawaii. So yeah, that's probably worth a pretty penny or two. This is a vintage single stitch t-shirt. All that is embroidered. And here is the tag. Vintage polo shirt. Polo shirts have not been selling all that well for me around here, but something like that should do okay. Oh, here's a belt to the trench coat that got left behind. Gramici t-shirt number 3. So 3 of those, I'll probably just lot them up. Another Jam's World. And this one is new with tags, old stock, dead stock. Take your pick. Just basic tank top, so not as visually eye-catching as the other shirt. And last piece is a duplicate Christian Dior silk robe, dress robe. So both of these are gonna get sent into the Real. Wish me luck. 31 bucks, really not bad at all. Flea markets are great for stuff like this. You'll find 1 or 2 vendors that are just gold mines. The rest of it is a bunch of people asking you to pay them $35 for an old wrench. Oh, here's one more. I dropped the piece that I just stepped on. Hopefully did not destroy. This crazy 100% silk Hawaiian / disco shirt from that brand. So I'll keep you updated on my adventure in trying to find my way out of this maze. The good news is that my symptoms have actually been alleviating a little bit. I've been really diligent about doing all the things that I need to do, and it seems that the pain is starting to kind of loosen up a bit. So we'll see what the future holds, and thanks for watching. Hope that you found something in this video that was useful to you.